Previously on Talking Joe.
Yeah, so tune in for more toys next week. But right now, we've got to see what the question from the listeners was. We asked you a question for you to come up with a question that then we would answer instead of you answering, because this time we are the listeners to your questions and we will answer them. Terrible. Bring back Funky Punch's jingle.
Talking Joe is on the air, and here are your hosts, Chief and Mark.
Hey, season's greetings from the Talking Joe studio. We're live. Well, me and the Funky Bunch are, definitely. I am the Chief Doggy Dog, Christmas hat and cheer aplenty, joined by my co-host as ever. That's you. You're on mute.
Sorry, it's me.
I thought you left me. I thought I was doing the show by myself.
Yeah, I'm Mark Ataka, coming at you like Han Solo and Chewbacca. Yeah, it's Christmas Eve.
Yes.
When this launches.
Yes. We were going to do a little mince pie review, but both of us forgot to bring any into the studio.
Well, I ate all of my mince pies.
I tell you what, I went to, the missus got a £50 voucher for Marks & Spencer from work. So I went to Marks & Spencer yesterday to kind of,
get the only people that £50 worth of mince pies.
The only people that shop regularly in Marks & Spencer are people like Ben, who've got that Marks & Spencer kind of money. Rocking
up in his Tesla to Marks & Spencer.
That's it. But as a treat, I went there. I managed to get 4 items in the basket for £50 at Marks & Spencer. No, it's a high-end store for those in the US. But I did get a lot of luxury Christmas Day items. And I did buy a pack of 4 mince pies. They're expensive. It was £4 for 4. Ooh. But these are topping the charts. These are the best I have had this calendar year. So excellent. Very good. What about you? What have you been up to?
You just got me thinking about Christmas food as well.
Yes.
I got a Pandoro from my mum the other day.
What's a Pandoro?
Which is a bit like it's Italian sort of light Christmas cake. It's a bit like a panettone.
Okay.
But it's sort of shaped with it's angular, so it sort of almost looks like a Christmas tree, and it's you get a bag of like sort of icing sugar in with it, and you shake it up, and so you get a nice dusting of sugary goodness on the outside of it, and you taste it, and it's just really light and fluffy and airy, so you can like eat a massive wodge of cake, and it just feels like you're eating air. It's
sounds good.
It's a Christmassy treat.
Yes,
Shay the Mark.
Good stuff. I'll tell you the other thing I've been doing is, or 2 things. By now, everyone listening to this podcast will surely have listened to the Outer Timers special Empire Strikes Back watch along, which came out last week. You listened to it yourself?
Yeah, I've listened. I listened on Friday when I was doing my last day of work.
It was a good one. I'll tell you, me and Ben mentioned, off air after recording, that 2 hours 10 minutes went by in about 20 minutes for us. It was just over so quick. I think we were just buzzing and in the moment, so it was good. So look out for a New Hope watch along coming just after Christmas in the new year. So we have done it obviously in reverse order, which is a strange way to do it, but nonetheless a good experience. The other thing is, as the day this pod launches, the Chief Dog will have 7 days left to complete his 200 calendar movie target. And at this point in time, as of recording, peer behind the curtain, Marky Funky Bunch said it's Christmas Eve. It will be when you're listening to the show, but it's actually 11 days to go, and I've got 11 movies to watch, so I am right up against it. Right
to the wire. Fortunately, you're on your Christmas holidays. Unfortunately, you have a family that has demands.
There you go. So, it used to be that I could... when I was working, the kid was at school, I'm in the loft. Occasionally I could put on a movie at lunchtime, and watch that in the loft, and that would help my numbers. But now the kid is off school and I'm off work for 3 weeks, then the chance of trying to watch a movie during the daytime is 0. So now just evenings, but I'm trying to catch up on Clone Wars. Well, no, I was going to say that actually. I finished Clone Wars Season 7. I mentioned to you off air that the final 4 episodes of season 7 are, for me, the greatest Star Wars output since 1983. Now, let's also bear in mind I've only up to episode 3 of Mandalorian season 2, but I will be hard pushed. It's hard pushed for that to do anything that's going to be better than those last 4 episodes of season 7.
Strong words.
But we'll see. I will get there in the end. I'm just about to finish season 1 of Rebels tonight. Then I've got 3 more seasons to go, 60 episodes. Once I'm through that, then I will do Mando episodes 4 through 8. I've managed to avoid spoilers so far from that last episode. Will it be able to remain unspoilt? I don't know. Doubtful, I suggest, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I hope everyone checked out our Jay Brown interview that landed, I think, in between these 2 episodes.
Yeah, great guy. That was a great interview.
Yeah, very easy to chat with. Could have talked a lot longer.
Yes. You've done something as well, haven't you? I'm not involved here, but you've done something that's also going to be good for the Talking Joe pod universe.
I caught up with academic and Joe fan and author Tim Finn, and we discussed all things Joe and his blog and his book, which is over at realamericanbook.com. And really good chat. We talked for 3 hours.
Wowzers!
And obviously, some of that was recorded. Some of that was just an off-air chat.
What's your plan for publishing that? Are you going to do it in a 2-parter?
I think it will have to be a 2-parter. It was all solid gold, so I wouldn't want to just cut out too much of the content.
No,
so I think it's gonna have to be a 2-parter. But
nice. I wasn't involved in recording that, so I'm going to look forward to listening to that myself. Nice little post Christmas present for the peeps out there. Good stuff. More guests hopefully lined up for the new year as well for the Talking Joe crew.
Exciting times.
Good times.
Good to talk to someone that's not in my immediate household as well.
Yeah. Listen, I want to talk about some action figures, so it's time for this. Action figures. We all love them. Action figures. Oh yeah. They bring us joy in our daily lives. Action figures. Yeah. Evoking memories from our childhood. But now we're grown and we just can't stop. Buying plastic till our wallets pop. When will it end? Who can say? 'Cause action figures are part of our DNA. Some people say maybe we've gone a little wacko, but action figures bring us joy like a rainbow. They are so hot like a splash of Tabasco. Now it's time for action figure fiasco. Now it's time for action figure fiasco. That's right, it is Action Figure Fiasco, branching out this week into a new brand that we haven't discussed before. This is Amazing Yamaguchi, powered by Reveltech. Now this is a Japanese company. Huh?
Sounds like a motorcycle.
Yeah. Well, this is I put this on pre-order back in the peak of my collecting back in kind of September, October, and it is cable. This is figure number 20 in their series of figures. I'm just going to open the box up. I think I paid $68 for it on import. So this is premium. So something about this guy must have spoken to you to sort of branch out into I'd seen some
price tier
publicity shots. Basically, I watch weekly this guy called Fwoosh, or he's called Robo Killer, and the website's called Fwoosh. He's got a YouTube channel where he does weekly action figure news updates and reviews and things like that. Really easy to listen to. Really good guy, kind of just a common man talking about action figures. And in all his previews, he looks at all the different lines of brands and toys that are coming up, action figures that are coming up in the 6-inch scale, in the 1/12 scale, and he showed publicity shots of this Cable figure, and it was like, holy moly, this is straight out of the 90s. Massive weapons, big old cybernetic arm, movable eyeball. Cable's got kind of the Flash techno-organic virus thing on the eye, and the figure just looked so cool. I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to pull the plug here, put the pre-order in, and then it arrived this week, and a lot to say about this guy. So posability is very good. Lots of articulation all over the figure. We'll post up pictures as normal. However, there is one big downside, and that is, and this is just the way that Reveltech make their figures, all the joints pop off super easy.
Yeah.
So you're trying to get him into a kind of action gun holding stance, and literally his shoulder will just come off.
Frustrating.
And then his leg, you twist his leg to get it up onto a kind of crouched on a rock position. Whoops! Now his leg's popped off. So good if you like having a figure to put in dynamic poses every now and again. Fantastic. You know, this ankle rocker's brilliant. There's almost no pose you're going to get this guy in, although I suppose articulation is limited in a bit of ways. But if you're a guy who likes to hold the figure and just play around and mess around with it, awful, because he's just going to start falling apart in your hands. Maybe I'll put up a little video. Maybe I'll take a video of me just dicking around with him, and you can see for yourself. Now, I'm kind of two minds here. Shall I keep because it is such a cool figure, or I can probably, sell it on the secondary market on eBay for about what I paid for it. So I think he goes new for like 90, or including postage at the moment. I paid 68. So I don't know. I'm in two minds. I don't know. Look, his shoulder's fallen off again. What a bastard. But what he does come with, he comes with a modular gun. It's loads of pieces, and you can form it into either two guns, like a rocket launcher and a sniper rifle, or a super massive. You build it, and it forms into a super massive gun. So, well, look, the more I'm just posing him now as I'm talking, he is well good. I think he's a keeper.
Very good.
Very good, very good. Put the poachers up. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go through the last sort of 3 or 4 episodes and actually put up the pictures of all the ones we've talked about, because I say it every week and I never do it. So I'm actually going to do it. That's my first New Year's resolution, pre-Christmas resolution, to put up all the pictures of the action figure fiasco toys we've talked about. But Cable by amazing Yamaguchi Reveltech is there. Now, Thomas, closely kept secret here. I don't know what toy he's reviewing or what he's doing this week. Give us the lowdown. So
we had a talk, me and Thomas, and about what to do this week, and we were like, what figure do you want to review? And he wasn't necessarily feeling a particular figure that he wanted to talk about in a lot of depth this week. And I was like, okay, all right. And we got Christmas coming up. We could do something Christmassy. What could we do? We could do even like you could do a letter to Santa talking about what Christmas toys that you wanted to get. You could even wrap it like M&M Stam, and he was like, no, not really feeling that. And then we started just on a walk yesterday. We were talking about the night before Christmas, the well-known poem, and then we just started playing around and changing some of the words as we were walking along into G.I. Joe version of it. And you think, hey, we're onto something here.
Nice.
So Thomas and I sat down and came up with some new lyrics, and we recorded it, and here we go.
It was the night before Christmas when all through their base no Cobra was stirring, not even Scarface. Their weapons were hung on the racks with care, in hopes that Storm Shadow wouldn't be there. The Cobras were nestled snug in their beds, while visions of brainwave scanners danced in their heads. And the commander in his cowl and an iron of scrap had just settled their brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the shore there arose such a clatter, Zartan sprang from his bed to see what was the matter. The guards' towers illuminated the beach with a flash, blinded by explosions that had blown up a stash. The moon on the breast of the newly landed Joes gave a lustre of the midday to the invaders below. when what to the sentry's eyes did appear but a miniature boat and 8 Joes yelling, "All clear," with a sneaky storm shadow so lively and quick, and a Joe there beside him. Must be Quick Kick. More rapid than eagles along the beach that they had came. They whistled and shouted and took careful aim. Now Quick Kick, now Roadblock, now Stormy and Snakes. On Duke, on Scarlet, on Wildcard and Flint. To the top of the towers, clamber over the wall. Charlie, Mike, lock and load, blast away all. As they leave the beach, the Cobras continue to die. The terror drone launches a firebat into the sky. So they made for the freighter, but the Cobras all knew there was a team full of troops and Storm Shadow too. And then, in a tinkling of gunfire they heard on the roof, a vengeful ninja who had appeared almost bulletproof. As Zartan drew back his bow and was turning round, Storm Shadow appeared, landing with a bound. He was dressed all in camo from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with blood splats and soot. A pair of sharp swords hung on his back, and he looked like an assassin about to attack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his expression not merry. His deadly intent, revenge, was primary. As Zartan in fear drew back his longbow, it was clear it was finally time for the show. Down, Storm Shadow drew his sword from its sheath, and through the smoke advanced with his clenched teeth. He slashed Zartan across his armoured belly. He dropped to his knees. Legs turned to jelly. He was bloody and scarred, no longer himself. Storm Shadow took no pity and still with great stealth poked out his eyes and twisted his head, soon left Zartan on the ground, laid down dead. Storm Shadow spoke no word but went straight to work, laid down some explosives, then turned with a jerk, laying his finger top of the detonator button, and with a fast exit in mind, the chopper did summon. He sprang to his copter, his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like a down of a thistle. With a click of the trigger, the Cobras should dread. Explosions filled the air. The Cobras were all dead. I heard him exclaim, ere he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to Cobra! On this, your last night."
Whoa, Nelly, that is a piece of work right there. Well done to the Seddon family, specifically those two boys, Funky Bunch and Thomas. Good stuff. Hopefully more from you boys in the new year.
Yeah, well, there'll be plenty of presents under the tree for Thomas to get fired up and do some reviews on.
Yeah, so. Good stuff. What do we do now? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about comics. Comic talk. Oh, comic talk. Larry Hammer writes them. Chief and Mark discuss them. Whoa, comic talk. Oh, comic talk. Larry Hammer writes them. Chief and Mark discuss them. Whoa. Okay, Comic Talk this week. We're bringing you issues 259, 260. You eagle-eyed... No, it's not eagle-eyed. I got this wrong previously on a pod with Chris. It's not eagle-eyed. It's hawk-eared. You hawk-eared... No, is it hawk-eared? Marshall Bravestar. What was the ears? Speed of the puma, strength of the bear.
Eyesight of the hawk.
Eyes of the wolf.
Oh, wolf.
Ears of the hawk. Yeah, it is okay. Hawk. So you hawk-eared listeners might have noticed on the Jay Brown interview, I referred to this arc as Venom Rising, and of course it's called the Cobra's Venom. So anyway, there you go. There's goof of the week for Chief. Maybe more goofs later. So yeah, 259, 260, the final two parts of the storyline, even though as we previously discussed, the first three parts are kind of standalone-ish, and this is a separate story, but does veer off into future issues. I believe, I haven't read ahead, but you've read ahead.
Yeah, it definitely does continue on into both of the main plot threads continue on into the following issues. I guess the thread that that holds this all together is that it's Ron Joseph is the primary artist for these five issues. But yeah, story wise, it definitely continues on. So the Cobra's Venom name is somewhat arbitrary. But we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, we're here talking about these 259, 260. So this is, like you said, it's Ron Joseph on art, Larry Harmer's writing, Brian Shearer's inking, and Jay Brown is on colours. Neil Uitaki is on letters. Let's talk about the covers. 259, A is the Ron Joseph. We've also got a John Royal, and then we've got the retailer incentive Jamie Sullivan cover.
Yep.
Favourite of these three?
I think my favourite of the lot is the cover A by Ron Joseph, which has Destro and Baroness blasting away at some blue ninjas, and it's very reminiscent of Alan Davis style. It's a nice composition.
And
there.
Like we mentioned last time, I'm a big fan of Brian Shearer. His inks over Gallant are excellent, and in general his art is good. He did a few standalone issues which I liked, but we did mention last time on the interiors where Ron was maybe struggling because of obviously the personal health issues he had. Brian jumped in to help out with inks, and I think Ron's art looked better when he's inking himself, and this covers an example here. He's doing everything himself apart from James on the colours, it looks stellar. Yeah.
It's definitely head and shoulders above a lot of the stuff that we see on the inside, which isn't to be a slight, but it's more to emphasise how good that cover is. I'd say.
I do like that. I do like that John Royal cover though. It's kind of just a nice escape chase scene with we got Chuckles, and who would you say that is, Cover Girl?
Ooh, I guess Cover Girl. Hard to say really.
Yeah, don't know. A fang chasing
a blonde with a gun.
2-6. Yeah.
But the interesting thing on that cover B by John Royal is that the car is a right-hand drive, and the person shooting the gun, that blonde girl, Cover Girl perhaps, shooting the gun is shooting left-handed, which leads us to believe that perhaps editorial at IDW decided they wanted to flip the image to make it appear that way around.
Right, yeah, that's some heavy duty research there by Funky Bunch. I like it.
And Jamie Sullivan, who's done variants for all five issues, continues his run onto these two.
I think his is my favourite of 260 covers.
With the hydrofoil.
With the hydrofoil and the shark kind of jumping over the wave. Flag in the background. I like that one a lot. The John Royal cover, what's that? Is that Helix?
That's Helix, yeah, which is a nice cover, but I'm doing a diagnostic here that she doesn't appear in these issues, so she shouldn't be on the covers.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's find out what we got in store in these two issues.
Sightline is evac'd from Springfield, but the damage to his leg is severe, and despite a surgical team being flown in, it has to be amputated. The Joes soon receive a suspicious package with schematics for a robot prosthetic leg, a thank you gift from Dr. Mindbender for saving his life from the Venom bot. Meanwhile in Shadizar, a sliver of the former emirate between Benzine and Trucial Abysma, Covergirl leads a team of Dusty, Muskrat, Leatherneck and Repeater on a mission to rescue 3 UN workers, and also a team of missing Joes who had previously been sent in but lost radio contact. As they make their way, the extraction team in Shadizard spots an ambush ahead and is able to counter it successfully. Meanwhile, in Shara City at the orphanage, Airborne's team of Ripcord and Heavy Duty begin a plan to evacuate their 3 UN contacts, as well as all the orphans they are watching over. In search of a ride, Airborne and Heavy Duty raid a Green Morning HQ, taking them out and requisitioning their VW van. Meanwhile, in New Jersey, Destro and Baroness and a platoon of Iron Grenadiers take out a Revanche office in a hostile takeover. Destro reveals that other Revanche offices around the world are hit simultaneously. Later, in Kansas, Destro, the Baroness and the Iron Grenadiers flush out another subterranean Revanche base, but come unstuck as they encounter the giant tentacled hive mind of Alpha 001 Prime. And finally, over in San Francisco, Milo is admitted to the Joe base and dojo, run by Budo.
where should we go first? Let's look at the UN stuff that's going on.
Sure.
So the team going in there to rescue, like you said, the UN workers. I don't know. This is the kind of stuff which is just boring me now. This is, and we'll come on to when we talk about the Blue Ninjas. I love all the Blue Ninja stuff now. I've done a flip reverse. That is right in my
flip reverse.
Right in my wheelhouse. Just love all that, crazy off the wall weird stuff. But this kind of stuff that's situated in the real world, kind of heavy militarized stuff, is just not for me anymore.
Yeah, well, you know, when we were doing issue, was it 251 or whatever, the Duke special mission?
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah,
you really didn't get on with that one, and it's sort of in that same sort of wheelhouse. And we also had that ambassador rescue not too long ago.
Yes.
The Ambo.
Yes, with the practicals.
And we've got very much more of the same, where it's kind of those non-Cobra insurgents in the desert, on the in their pickup trucks with heavy duty guns over the top of them, chasing down the Joes. It's very much in that same wheelhouse, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And I thought it was a little bit heavy-handed as well, just in terms of, the UN workers won't evac without taking the kids with them, and a couple of the Joes are like, well, look, this isn't part of our mission, we can't take them with us, and they're making a stand, and it all just felt, I don't know, just a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know, it didn't push any of my buttons.
Yeah, actually, you put me in mind of the fact that this isn't actually even the first time that the Joes have been put into a circumstance where they've had to rescue a busload of orphans or refugees. If you remember, they were back in, I can't remember the name of the country now, Sierra Gordo, I think it was, when there was a mission with Wild Bill and Crazy Legs and co, and they had the Dreadnoks with them, and they had to bring along a busload of refugees on their mission as they were trying to make their escape. But one thing that really sort of jumped out at me at that particular arc is the fact that they're using these Chenworth and Flyers, which are real world military vehicles and not G.I. Joe toys. They could seem, they seem to be substitutes for something like the Hammer and the Ore Striker, which are very similar looking vehicles. The Chenworth Scorpion DPV Desert Patrol Vehicle is manufactured by the Chenworth Racing Company, right. And the Flyer is an advanced strike vehicle developed by General Dynamics. So interesting tack here that it's sort of centering their vehicles so much on a real world example rather than the grand inventory of G.I. Joe vehicles that actually exist.
Okay, fine. I mean, this continues on because at the end of issue 260 we see him on one of these jeeps and they're getting out of Dodge. So obviously this does go into the next few issues.
Yeah. They're sort of on top of that VW camper that who was it? It was Heavy Duty and Airborne had gone to the Green Morning HQ and requisitioned, as I said, and in those issues, in those pages rather, Heavy Duty was using his giant machine gun thing that came with his figure, which I think might be the first appearance of it in the book, or certainly the first appearance for a very long time, because Heavy Duty, he's a character that has only very lightly appeared in the Hammerverse before. I think he was had like a one-page background cameo in the invasion of the pit in the Wildman issues. So I'm guessing, in the 120s or 130s. He was obviously in the Rise of Cobra film as a kind of substitute for Roadblock in the first film almost. Yeah. And he was featured a fair amount in, I think, the Devil's Due series. But first proper airtime from Hammer on this one. So obviously he's still dipping back into that toy box and sort of trying to find some characters he's not really used before, which is interesting.
Okay, yeah, good stuff. All right, let's dip next into the Sightline stuff. and this is where we find out that he's got to get his leg amputated, and then we get a mysterious package in the post, which is Mindbender, giving technical data for a prosthetic leg. Now, the Mindbender stuff I found quite interesting. I like the fact that Mindbender is kind of been changed by the Venom experience of having Venom in his body, and he almost, wants to. At one point, he says to Cobra Commander, doesn't he? I was going to get the Joes to safety or get them some medical treatment, and Cobra Commander shoots him down and says, look, no one's keeping score, although Cobra Commander clearly is keeping score. And it's a different side to Mindbender that we haven't seen before, and I kind of like that he's done this, and it obviously sets up a future storyline of Sightline getting this new bionic leg. However, it's scuppered by the fact that I don't give two shits about Sightline, because he's a character that's only just been introduced, and they make a big ordeal. They waste 5 pages talking about how bad it is that Sightline's going to lose his leg. And look, okay, I don't want to draw parallels to the real world, and obviously veterans who have lost limbs in combat is a horrific experience, and I'm not detracting from that, but in the context of this fantasy story, Larry makes too big a deal about this character losing a leg when we're just constantly seeing people die on every issue of G.I. Joe, and not a mention is made about that. So he over-egged the pudding.
That pudding was over-egged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I think that's all fair to say. Yeah, we've not really had an opportunity to really sort of properly develop that sort of on-page relationship with the character Sightline, and develop the level of empathy that would be required to, as you say, particularly care. And it's sort of the Mindbender plot is interesting. So how will his motivations towards the Joes be changing long term, if at all? And obviously, with this leg being introduced, it potentially has got some legs in storytelling sense, in terms of where does it go? Yeah. What does that mean in terms of in terms of the character, how he's used, and potentially what shenanigans might have been inserted by Dr. Mindbender.
Yes.
To
exactly. We don't know what his true motives were, so that could play out interestingly, or Larry could just completely forget about it and we never see it again. So it can go several ways, which is a bit of intrigue, at least, I guess. Okay, let's talk about the yet another new ninja being brought into the fold, which is Milo. It seems that whenever the Joes pick up a new younger character into the fold, the first thing they do is send them to a dojo or to Granny, and they get trained up as a ninja. So very recently we had Raymond. Standard. And now he is no longer low man on the totem pole, because Milo is the new guy in town. Yeah,
it's interesting. Joes are
Joes
are running.
Is it, or is it terrible?
It's maybe it's terrible. It might have been the word I was going for. But yeah, the Joes are running a dojo / daycare center / orphanage over there in San Francisco. See where this one goes. I mean, generally, the non-toy characters introduced into the Joe world are often a good introduction, and do make for good storytelling. Billy being a prime example, Captain Min there, even Tyrone to a degree, and sort of the redemption arc for Zartan. So we'll see. I mean, it might just be one too many of the same kind of thing that we've seen before in this instance, but who knows?
Yeah. We'll see where that goes, if anywhere at all, as always. And then, kind of lastly, we're looking at the Destro Blue Ninja Revanche storyline, and this is for me the best one of the lot, because I love those blue ninjas.
I'm not digging the blue ninjas. I'd quite happily have seen the last of them by this point.
I'd love that end of issue 259, where there's kind of, it's almost like the alien Queen Mother of the Blue Ninja world, and given a spiel, kind of holding her belly, and it's just so ridiculous that it's actually turned the corner to be good for me.
Okay.
But Destro, he's got his guys in there. They're taking out all these Revanche facilities with they've got some new special bullets which seem to destroy the Blue Ninjas, and they seem to have a particular flaw which is good. I think Baroness points out that they've got an EMP generator flaw, which means if you take that out, it just destroys the whole Blue Ninja. So they needed to have an off switch, if you will. Exactly, yeah, because previously we've established that they are somewhat what's the right word, indestructible. Yes, we've had a single Blue Ninja with Storm Shadow and Storm Shadow and Snake Eyes and Jinx kind of struggling to tag team and take down that single Blue Ninja, whereas now it's with these new EMP bullets, Destro and Co can quite merrily be marching right into the middle of their base and be taking them down left, right and centre. Yeah. In that sequence, though, there was a particularly nice panel that I noticed in 259, which was like a half-page splash. Okay. It's sort of towards the middle. Towards the middle, and it's got in the top left-hand corner, it's got an Iron Grenadier in sort of very muted tones, a lot of black there, and it really put me in mind of Mike Mignola. Okay. His work. Oh yeah. They're standing in like a doorway of a broken down building. I've got it. Yeah. And not drawing any feet as well, which is very Mignola-esque. Oh, does he not draw feet? I never even noticed that. Yeah, if he can avoid it, he'll often miss the feet. Yeah. Liefeld-esque. Yeah. It's a sign of a pro. That's it. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look, and also even Ron's carried that over because he's not drawn Destro or Baroness's feet in that panel. Exactly. Either. Yeah. They're sort of just sort of cross-hatching away into the smog. On the floor. Yeah. So they're basically just trying to take him out because they know that effectively. I still don't know what the Blue Ninja's ultimate goal is. Is it just world domination? Well, yeah. I don't know, and it's all a bit confusing, and particularly with the alliances as well. That Cobra and Destro are meant to be working together almost as part of the same unit at the moment, and Cobra and the Blue Revanche are seem to be working together, sort of much more hand in hand these last quite a few issues, and they've been talking to the fact that Revanche have supplied Cobra with a lot of technology and weaponry, etc. Yeah. So it seems a little bit odd that suddenly they're just number one enemy for Destro again. It seems like just as they'd almost reached a stable state where they were living in happy harmony together. It's this point that Destro sort of starts kicking up a fuss and maybe. However, one of these Blue Ninjas does have my favourite line of dialogue. Quote of the week. 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 And it actually comes from Alpha 001 Prime, who I think we'd previously seen BN 001, haven't we? And now this is Alpha 001 Prime. And obviously, I'm guessing when Alpha Prime goes, we'll find out that wasn't the top Blue Ninja. There was actually another one as well above that. I guess you can just keep going. You're led to believe that you've witnessed the top of the food chain, but you never do. And this one says, Alpha 001 Prime welcomes you to the presence of the core entity. We are pleased to have you to join us here. We have such magnificent plans for you. As these tentacles pop out. I liked it. Bit of megalomaniac spiel. Magnificent plans. I was a little bit confused by Alpha Prime's thought process though, because at the very end of 259, that splash with this quite striking imagery of the robot sort of holding its stomach as if it's got a big pregnant belly there or something, with the green flowing in and out. There's quite a strange thought process here that Destro and the Baroness and his Iron Grenadiers are winkling out all of the Revanche bases and destroying methodically all of the Blue Ninjas, but somehow they come to the conclusion that it is the Arashikage ninja clan that poses the most serious immediate threat. Yes. They have the wherewithal to penetrate our most secure locations,
and they function to some degree as part of the intelligence apparatus of the G.I. Joe team. It's therefore necessary to kill them all. Hold on, Mrs. You are literally being destroyed systematically by Destro at the moment.
Yeah.
It is clear that the most serious immediate threat, literally right this second, is Destro. What nonsense.
Yep. Well, there you go. What do you expect from some kind of hive mind robot / human cyborg creation thing?
There's a bug in the system there.
Yeah. Favourite line of dialogue from you?
My favourite line of dialogue was probably from Airborne, where he's been taking out those Green Dawns in a somewhat badass way, and he says, "I'm your karma, come home to roost." Blam.
Strong. Take that, scumbag.
There's a few little sort of nuggets of detail that I spotted that worth drawing out. In the letter pages, Larry is again griping about people not writing into the letter pages, and he actually does it in a reply to someone that had written in, which is somewhat ironic. But there we go. I think clearly he does appreciate getting in the volume of letters and reading those and having that as a bit of a sounding board to bounce his ideas off, get a feel for what people are liking, what they'd like to see. The Joes in the pit, they're using a drone to help support their teams in Shadazar, and it's controlled by a new Joe, codenamed Joystick, whose primary military specialty seems to be drone controller. So sort of Larry continuing to introduce a few new Joes there. We saw, I think their accountancy Joe was referred to earlier, and I'll mention another new Joe in a bit. At the very beginning of the issue, did you notice that Sightline had a big M drawn on his forehead?
Did not.
So, any ideas what that might be?
Mutant. No?
It could be.
Okay.
You're reminding me of those adverts, the in-house adverts.
Or Bishop, yeah.
The in-house adverts as well, when they had that you posted on the social medias not too long ago,
right,
where they had Muty kind of drawn across pictures of various characters and stuff. Yeah, and Bishop as well over his eye, obviously. So M here in this context relates to morphine.
Right.
So the reason that is there is that when in combat, if morphine is being administered to a patient, you don't want them to be overdosed.
Okay.
So by having it very clearly on their forehead, there, the medics and so on will be able to see that they've had a dose and whether they would try another one.
Very good.
Muskrat's well read. Did you notice that?
I did not.
He had read Vo Nguyen Giap's Art of War, which is so this guy is a self-taught military general, and his writings are on strategy as applied in Vietnam's War of Resistance. And it's not the first time that Larry refers to the Art of War, but he normally does it in the context of a different book, which is The Art of War by the ancient Chinese military strategist Sun Tzu. Which is an ancient Chinese military treatise dating from 5th century BC. So every day's a school day.
There you go.
For Larry and his reading.
Yep. Very good.
I did notice a little goof though.
Oh dear.
The goof of the week that I spotted was I think on page 10 of, was it 259? Or no, I think it was 260 in fact. And that is that if you look at it, you'll probably jump out as being fairly glaring. It's Milo in the dojo, and the page, the art on the page looks very pixelated, as if they've used a wrong resolution image to grab.
I spotted that. I thought it was a printing error. Yeah, so it's Milo in the dojo being sort of shown the ropes, and Raymond holding up a bucket and a brush, but sort of if you're not looking closely, I think you probably gloss over it, but it's fairly obvious that particularly around
lettering that the resolution is not looking right there.
Yeah, Larry Harmer is up to it with some hammerisms, I believe.
Stop. Hammer time.
Time to beat the soles of your boots with my face. Sucking chest wounds, red ninjas, brain scanners, rubber oozes, blue ninjas. And then some more sucking chest wounds. Hammer time.
Yeah, so we've got quite a few of his favourite, wording appearing across
Meat puppets.
the issues.
Meat puppets.
Yes, ding, ding, ding. We should create a bingo card for this. Actually, meat puppets is there for sure in the Revanche world. Any others that you noticed?
Yes, but I have not written them down.
Well, we had the Revanche holdouts being winkled out.
Oh yeah, winkled out. Yes, a new one for him. Yeah,
which was a good one that I tripped over in Dawn of the Arashikage. We had cover girl saying that the team should Charlie Mike,
right. Yes,
which is always welcome back. Airborne's team has to exfiltrate. Okay. Run away! Run away! Yep. Run away! We had lots of shooting at the centre of mass as well, which is always the best place to aim.
Yep.
Except if you're aiming for in maybe a Revanche robot in their,
of course,
their weak
aim
spots.
for that EMP generator.
Yeah, the EMP generator, or perhaps the unarmoured spot underneath their chin. And we also had a reappearance after being used in the silent option of track, where Heavy Duty was somewhat cold-heartedly said to someone that he'd just shot through the throat that you should really get a track for that cough.
Got it.
Harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there's a severe case of kind of deference to rank in how the Joes kill the enemies, because if you're a standard trooper or terrorist or insurgent whatnot, shoot him through the throat, that's fine. But if you catch up with the big dogs, the Cobra commanders and whatnots, best to just sort of wag your finger at them and then let them go.
Yeah, that's best, I think.
But as well as seeing some favourite of hammerisms, the words that we recognise and adore, there were some new colloquialisms that I had spotted.
There used to be a pudding that was over-egged. You know the pudding. You know the pudding. At first it was British, but then it was Commonwealth. You know the pudding. You know the pudding. But now there's a new player in town, a comic book writer of some renown. He's using real world examples and peppering the issues with lots of samples. It's a Larry Hammer colloquialism. He's talking G.I. Joe and all its heroism. Can you guess what it is? Is it something new? Now listeners, Larry drops a slice of real life on you. Yes, okay, well, I also spotted one, and that was Larry doing a flip reverse himself, and he started calling his practicals technicals.
Yeah, I got confused about this, because in my head I was like, which way round was it? Did he say technicals or practicals? But yeah, he has, hasn't he? He's reversed it round.
Yes, so maybe some feedback from maybe he listens to this show, and he heard us, or no, someone else called it out, didn't he? I think it was Bart maybe on the Facebook group, who said it's actually technicals and not practical. I don't know, anyway, whatever. Larry started using technicals is the upshot.
Very good.
Was there any more colloquialisms?
Well, yeah, I had an education on this one. So he when Sightline was being evac'd in for his emergency surgery and whatnot, Duke said, "Caseload, our JAG specialist, is up in the cockpit having the crew sign the security docs." So we've got a JAG specialist.
Right.
Any ideas?
JAG. Now, there used to be a TV show called JAG, and it was some sort of military. I think it was something to do with aviation.
That sounds familiar, but this is JAG standing for Judge Advocate General, and it's a branch or speciality of the military concerned with military justice and military law. So judge advocates serve primarily as legal advisors to the command that they are assigned. So this is all about a caseload being a legal specialist for the Joes, along with their accountant and their new joystick drone jockey.
Yes.
Sort of working away there in the background as their admin force, a real American admin force.
Very good.
And another colloquialism I got, which this can't be new to the book, but I thought let's look this up and see what it actually means. Is defiliated crossfire.
Okay. I've heard that before, I think, in Larry's book, but can't remember.
Yeah, a unit or position is in defiliade if it uses natural or artificial obstacles to shield or conceal itself from enemy fire. So it's a fancy way of saying getting behind cover, essentially.
Right, got it. Yep, makes sense.
And about this time, we have been doing a new feature called Where's Molly? But let's just skip that again this week. Don't think.
Listen,
we've got
man,
much.
you introduced this new segment. I think it's only appeared once since you introduced it.
Well, I had to be fair to me. I haven't, he had been using it a lot, and I hadn't been reading ahead. So how was I to know that he'd just stop using the word Molly?
Like I say, Larry's obviously listening to the pod, and he's like, "Listen, this guy's going to make a jingle about me repeating myself. I'm going to stop using it."
Oh dear.
So we'll find out. You've read ahead, so you know whether it's coming up in the next episode or not. But anyway, play that jingle.
Hit it. Where's Molly? Where's Molly? Where's Molly?
There you go. You get your jingle anyway. We'll
Where's
segue
Molly?
now.
Nowhere.
We'll
Nowhere.
segue
That's the
now
answer.
into MVP. Who is the MVP? Most valuable person in these issues. Who is the MVP? Is it a Cobra Joe or the enemy? The good guys are the Joes, now show counter-terrorist force, but hush, it's on the down low. Pages of this book, go have a look. We're searching for guys or gals that have the hook. The hook of being the best thing in the story, chomping up scenes, front and center allegory. And let's not forget about those cats named Cobra, sipping Dom Perignon. Are you sure they're sober? Brainwave Scanner is back, gonna be messing. Big CC and Destro teach a lesson. Talking valuable, can we talk the dreadnoughts, grape soda, chocolate donuts, and then the jukebox? Who is the MVP? Most valuable person in these issues. Who is the MVP? Is it a Cobra Joe or the enemy? Anyone sticking out for you in these two issues?
I found this one a tricky one, and my answer I think is probably fairly arbitrary. I settled down on going for CoverGirl as the MVP.
Okay.
I thought it was good to have her in this sort of leadership role, picking up a team and leading them in on this mission. Larry seems to be putting a lot of emphasis on making sure that he's including female characters in strong roles within the book, which I think is to be commended. And yeah, a good character and one that is, given that she was back from way back at the beginning of G.I. Joe and was ignored for relatively large swathes of the issues since. Good to see her sort of making a return.
Yep, good stuff. I'm going with Alpha Prime 001, just for the fact of it being yet another Blue Ninja leader.
Typical meat puppet response there from you, Chief.
That's it, exactly. I will ask you this question now because you have read ahead. Can we sufficiently Yo-Joe this as a story arc, or should we wait and include these two issues into the next arc?
I think the next arc continues on for a little while, and so let's Yo-Joe this on the basis of it being a named arc with a consistent artist across the issues.
So, all five together, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. 6. 6 Yo-Yos.
Oof, harsh. 7, I'll go.
7 for Funky Bunch, 6 for the Chief. So next up, what have we got next? It's another 5-parter, is it? 6-1 to 6-5.
I think you might. They're behind me somewhere, but we've got a new arc called Artificial Intelligence, which runs part 1 to part 3, 261 to 26. Part 1 and 2 is 261 and 262. Then we have the story interrupted with a one-off Memorial Day issue before Artificial Intelligence then picks up with part 3 through to part 5.
Read those 5, listeners, if you want, and then we'll decide, I guess, what works best when we come to record over the next couple of weeks, whether we do it all in one or split it up again. But just read ahead if you want to, or just listen to us tell it like it is. We'll give you the facts. Okay, good stuff there. After talking comics, we need to go back to talking about toys, and this time it's you. What you got for me? Mark talks about toys, ho ho. He talks about G.I. Joe. He talks about all the toys from the comic book and the animated show. Mark talks about toys. Mark talks about toys.
So, I'm selecting a toy that was featured in these 2 issues that we just looked at. Any guesses, Chief?
Cover Girl.
So this might this might break your 100% record of getting it spot on first time, but it's not Cover Girl.
Okay. It is Heavy Duty. Ding ding ding.
Not Heavy Duty.
No, I didn't think so. It is Leatherneck. Yes.
Not Leatherneck, I'm afraid.
Leatherneck. It is, of course, the Baroness.
Not the Baroness.
I didn't say it was the Baroness, did I? It is Ambush.
Fresh out of Ambushes here, sir.
It can only be Budo. Yes.
I'm afraid
ding ding
not.
ding. No. It can. The person who you are discussing is, of course, Dr. Mindbender.
It's not Mindbender, I'm afraid.
Right. You will now have to tell me.
It's Repeater.
Repeater. Yes, first guess.
Excellent, well done. I'm glad to see that the record still maintains.
That's it. 100%. Tell me about
Ding,
Repeater.
ding, ding. So let me ping you across an image of Repeater. Is the sound on? Is the sound off? Place your bets, my friend. Here we go. Repeater.
Can't find my phone, so we won't know. Oh, there it is. It's over there. Get it?
You might have, because I'm struggling. I'm going to grab this image. You might still have an opportunity to get the sound on.
I don't
just
even know where my
in
sound
time.
on button is. I think it's there.
Gallery. Am I going to do it in time? All media. And select Repeater. And here we go. It's away.
Oh, my sound was on, but no sound came. Okay, there he is. Give me a year for this guy.
So Repeater is from 1988.
And is he an analogue? Is he supposed to replace an existing Joe?
Well, he's heavy weapons. He's got that heavy machine gun. So I guess he is in that roadblock, rock and roll kind of machine gunner speciality.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, he could quite easily have been a rock and roll without a beard, I suppose. There, he is a steady cam machine gunner, is what he's called.
Right.
His primary military specialty is infantry. His secondary military specialty is heavy weapons. And birthplace Rhode Island, as I believe many of the Joes were from. So with close to 20 years in the army, Repeater never got any higher in rank than E6. His performance in the field was always top notch, but he could never hack it in garrison. He's not a barrack soldier and never could be, but send him out into the bush beyond the furthest base camp and you'll find that he's the one the other grunts wants to soldier with, because he's the one who's going to bring the grunts back in one piece. Being the machine gunner is probably the toughest job in an infantry squad. Number 1, he's got the heaviest load to carry. Number 2, as soon as he starts firing, the enemy knows where he is and he becomes their primary target. Number 3, your squad depends on him to keep firing through all of this to provide manoeuvring cover. The machine gunner should always be the strongest, most stand-up troop you have. So did you have this figure, or did Ben have him? You familiar with him?
Negative.
Negative.
This, I'm just looking at the card art. His face, he's kind of drawn kind of caricaturish a little bit, I think, in his face. Kind of the pursed lips, a big kind of meathead, chunky look. The kind of dimple on the chin. Yeah. I don't know. Just it's a bit of a different style almost than what we've seen on previous card art. Don't you think, or not?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
But yeah, you feel free to draw your own conclusions. That's fine.
Now that gun locks onto his waist, does it?
That's right. It's got an attachment onto a kind of I don't know what you say, a hook, a kind of indentation, like a circular thing that it crops out from his waist that it latches onto. In
a similar way
he can go
to
hands free.
Who's the guy that came after him? The Coast Guard dude.
Is that Pathfinder?
No.
Do you thinking of?
What the hell's that guy's name? Do you know the one I mean? Coastal Defence. He had a gun that almost had a hook on his belt, and he put it on as well. A massive gun. What the hell's that guy's name? Had goggles, kind of a tanny brown outfit. You know the one I mean? No. Rampart. There you go.
Rampart. Okay. Let me see.
Look at Chief with the toy knowledge, better than Funky Bunch. Never thought that would happen, did you?
Oh yeah. Rampart is one of those figures that just is a bit of a just one of those ones that's just a blind spot. I never remember him.
Good figure, better than Repeater. Look at the Repeater.
I disagree.
Rampart,
but yeah, it looks
better.
like very similar kind of concept in terms of sort of hooking on that gun onto the side of his belt.
Yeah. You can keep
Repeater. I think it's. I'm not too sure how close to real world analogues that is. That Steadicam machine gun, but what it obviously put me in mind is those large heavy duty guns that the Space Marines used in Aliens of
Drake,
of course.
And what's her name? I forget what her name was.
No,
Ramirez? No.
Ramirez. That
No.
sounds almost right.
Don't know.
But yeah, the I would strongly think that is kind of where they got the inspiration for this. Yeah, I did mean to look up what real world equivalents there might be, but forgot. So apologies.
You had this guy? Obviously, you had them all.
I had pretty much all of them up until this era. So yeah, I got him when he came out. He might have even been one that I bought when I was over in the States. But
right.
Yeah, a good one. I sort of liked the kind of the real world military look to the figure. The more garish figures were generally less favourites of mine. So did like him, and got a lot of play with this one. So yeah, a good favourite, and nice to see him continue to sort of crop up in these issues and on the cover of 260.
Yeah.
There.
Well, he was on the cover, wasn't he? It was 82, is it? Weeding Out.
That's right. With the where he's been snuck up on by the Viper when
your brother's got a cover recreation, original art.
That's right. Yeah, a great cover recreation of that one. Yeah, head over to Comic Art Fans, and you can have a look at that. As with all the other recreations, if you do a Google search for Comic Art Fans, all one word, and Mark Said, that's spelled SEDD, you will find my gallery, and just click on the G.I. Joe rooms, and you can find it there.
So basically, your brother doesn't get his own gallery; you get to steal all of his.
It's not. It's me doing the heavy lifting and putting it on the site because he wasn't. He didn't.
He's lazy, is what you're saying.
Lazy, if anything.
Okay, all right, fair.
Kind brother.
Yes.
Nurturing.
Yes. Repeater, good stuff. Good stuff. More toys from Funky Bunch next week. Chief will maintain his 100% guessing record.
Yeah,
the
don't
man
know
is
how you do it.
unstoppable.
It's crazy.
Yes, it's
like
crazy. I mean, look, phone up Norris McWhirter, get them Guinness books down here, put him in the Guinness books. Listen, we have got a question we put to the listeners.
Question, tell me what you think about TV. Do you buy toys and buy other things? Who's your favourite guy from that movie? What are the UK pedestrian crossings? Question, what did we ask this week? Let's find out as we speak.
Okay, good stuff. New jingle from Funky Bunch. This man is a machine. And make sure you did listen to the end of last week's episode for a little treat to know why this man is the jungle VIP, even the jingle VIP. He might be in the jungle as well, not sure. The question this week was all about crossovers. What is your favourite crossover? And you left it pretty vague. Could be anything. Could be Joe related, non-Joe related, movies, comics, TV, whatever. Yeah. Crossover.
Could be that time that EastEnders met up with Coronation Street.
Yep. Could be that time you put bacon in your porridge. I mean, we've all done it. So what was the responses we had?
Yeah, we got a few different ones. There was some nice out of left field ones as well. So Greg came straight in with Daffy Duck versus Donald Duck from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Great sequence there.
Can't remember it.
Can you not?
No.
They're doing a piano duel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a great sequence. I can remember distinctly. The first time I saw it was on Barry Norman's film, 19 whatever it was,
yeah.
and they showed that little clip.
Cool.
Excellent stuff. We had Bart with the Punisher Nam crossover. It's not one that I think I've ever actually read, but
you're a Punisher fan as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I like the Punisher, like the Nam, but for whatever reason haven't tracked that one down and had a look. Jay had RoboCop versus Terminator, which is one that I definitely have read, and had even got a sketch from the artist Walt Simpson. Simonson. Simonson.
Super fan Mark.
Yep, right first time. Got when he was in the UK, got a nice sketch of the RoboCop from him.
Very good.
Darren came in with Hot with Bambi versus Godzilla from 1969, which is a short black and white sort of indie film, if you can call it a film, which is essentially Bambi sort of stood there for a few seconds before Godzilla's leg comes down and squishes him.
There you go.
We had a couple of people coming in with Batman versus Predator, which would be, I think, on my short list of favourite crossovers as well. So from Dave Gibbons writing and the Cubots on the art. This was kind of right at the beginning of a big trend of Dark Horse crossovers with various properties. And yeah, good art, good team, good writing, good art, really solid story. And yeah, sort of I think stands up even to this day. I imagine it's one that you would have read back in the day, Chief.
Have read that. Prefer Batman Predator 3 by Chuck Dixon and DiMaggio. I think
You've got to be contrary, Chief. That's...
No, I honestly think it's better. Go and read Batman Predator 3.
Okay. And for fans of Batman vs Predator, I'd also recommend that you do a little YouTube search for Batman Dead End. Have a look at that fan film. It's a bit of fun.
Is that the one with Predator and aliens as well?
That's right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that years ago. Very old. That's good.
Well done. Yeah. It's nice and atmospheric. Only a few minutes long, but sort of quite towards the beginning of some of that fan film kind of genre.
Yep.
And a lot of them are quite shonky, but this one was very well done. Yorktown Joe came in with G.I. Joe versus $6 Million Man. That got a couple of votes. I'm sad to say I've got that. It's in my box, but I've not actually got around to reading it. Are you the same, Chief?
I think I've got the first 3 issues, but never read them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an affinity with the $6 Million Man or Bionic Man. it's just not something that I watched when I was a kid. So don't have that affinity for the property. So, but I'm sure it's nicely put together. I would bet, given the team that's involved. I've written down Harley. Hopefully that's your name, and I've not written that down wrong. Who called out Street Fighter G.I. Joe, and obviously there was the toys Street Fighter versus G.I. Well, the Street Fighter toys done in the G.I. Joe format, but there was also the mini series where they did fought essentially in a tournament. Is that one that you've got round to reading, Chief?
Nope. Sounds like it's up my alley, but I haven't read it. Have you read it?
Yeah, I read it a little while ago.
And you didn't like it?
I think it's fair to say I didn't like that one. But if you did enjoy it, hats off to you. Well done. And Chris Diagnostic AT McLeod said the Revolution box set, and this was, I think, new to me, or newly remembered from me because I forgot it before. And it's this really cool box set of toys which had Mask, Transformers, Visionaries, G.I. Joe, ROM, and the IDW version of Action Man, sort of inspired by the Revolution crossover that IDW was doing. It's a nice looking set.
Interesting.
And Jim Godfrey said, to finish off round out the listener comments, that crossovers are lazy cash grabs dreamt up by parasites that dwell deep within marketing departments. So, needless to say, not a fan of the crossover.
There you go. Strong words from the big JG. Any personal favourites of yours?
So I mentioned Batman versus Predator. One of my favourites originally was the Judge Dredd and Batman crossover, illustrated by Simon Bisley, which as a youngster just blew my mind. I thought that, his art style was incredible on that book, and I actually photocopied in colour photocopies some of the pages on that and blew it up and stuck it on my wall at the time. And I just think, as well, in terms of other crossovers, that what the Marvel universe has been doing in terms of the cinematic universe is quite a stunning achievement. And that would be probably my other favourite. Just sort of, the way that they've been able to pull off what they have, that grand sweep of all of these interconnecting franchises, and do it so well. Very impressed. Yep. What about yourself, Chief?
I'm just going to stick to comics for this one. I would say the Batman Elmer Fudd from 2017 by Steve Orlando, Tom King and Lee Weeks. Really, really enjoyed that.
Very good.
Batman Planetary Night on Earth from 2003 by Warren Ellis and Cassidy. I liked.
Good stuff, yeah.
Suicide Squad Banana Splits from 2017 by Bedard and Caldwell. That's another one of those Hanna-Barbera DC crossovers. What else? Batman Tarzan, Claws of the Catwoman from 1999, Ron Mars, Igor Cordy. Like I said,
okay,
Batman Predator 3. Yep. Superman Tarzan, Son of the Jungle, Chuck Dixon, Carlos Maglia. Green Lantern, Huckleberry Hound. That's by Mark Russell and Rick Leonardi. And I did quite like, it's part of a bigger storyline, so you won't get your most out of it, but I did like the Wildcats Aliens, which was Warren Ellis and Chris Sprouse. But that's
that was well done, wasn't it? Yeah.
Part of a bigger Stormwatch storyline, so on its own probably won't get the most out of it. But
and they also bravely used that story to wipe out a huge swathe of the leading cast on the book as well, which was very unusual for that kind of crossover, where largely they're sort of slightly to the side of the normal continuity and can be ignored for the purposes of continuity, whereas this one they used a actual inter-franchise property crossover to wipe out a good chunk of the cast.
Yep 1998, that was a long time ago.
Which I think was meant that it's harder to collect, though, to see the story because of all of those right issues, but there we go.
Yeah. I've got all the singles there, so I was still doing a custom bind of all those Stormwatch issues and stuff. Still might do. But Right, there you go. That was a good one. Good one. Some good suggestions there. If for nothing else, for the Chief to go and check out. Everyone else, feel free to, if there's stuff there you haven't seen or read or listened to, let us know. If you do delve into it, let us know what you thought and whether if those people were right or wrong to give those suggestions. No one's wrong on Talking Joe.
I don't know what you're going to pick up, but I think this has motivated me to actually finally dig out those G.I. Joe versus $6 Million Man issues and actually give them a read. I'll do that probably some point this week.
Very good, very good. Thanks to all the listeners for the response there. That keeps that segment going, and in fact the listeners keep the show going, because without those loyal, good listeners, there's no point in doing the show. So thanks to them as always. You can catch us in the usual places. That's talking_Joe on Twitter, Talking Joe Comics on Instagram, talkingjoecomics@gmail.com, or Talking Joe, a G.I. Joe podcast on the Facebook. Well, I guess we're prepping up now. Christmas Eve, wink wink. We need to get ready for the big man in his red outfit who's going to come and deliver all my post. Oh no, that's the different guy in red.
You've got a big man coming to empty his sacks down your chimney.
Oh, don't do it to me, please, big man. Anyway, listen, I'm going to put some mince pies out for that big man, and Chief's going to snaffle them all down. Listen, Merry Christmas everyone, have a Happy New Year. The Talking Joe crew will see you in the new year with lots more content, because when all is said and done, we will catch you down the road.
Because we've been Talking Joe.
And we're all out of Christmas cheer. We got loads of Christmas cheer. What are you talking about, Chief? Laters.